from last year. Shoot on my shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down.
What up, bitches?
What's up?
I didn't have a meeting right before this one, so I was here a minute early, and we're actually on air a tad bit early.
Yes, we are.
That's to you, Corey. No meeting, but I am literally, the minute this is over, meetings the entire rest of the day.
Yeah.
Oh,
No meetings for me, except I do have an appointment with a nap.
a nap. Nice. So we got some Savage S1 versus Innovate versus Reebok talk going on in the chat. Fun place to start. What is your go-to workout shoe?
Well, currently I'm wearing the Reebok, I think the 3s, the 13s.
13.
I started with Reebok. Yeah. Or X3, I mean.
Those are like the brand new ones.
Then it's the 12. I think it's X3. No, I do think it's an X3. Anyway, I started with Reebok. Right? The Nano 4s, I think, or the 2s. I think the 2s. I don't know. Then I had several, and then I, switched and went to, what was it? Nike for a little while. I do like Nike. I hated running in Nanos. Hated it. And so I didn't like them for any type of workout that had running, that kind of thing. So I switched over to Nike Metcon. I tried Nobles. I hate Nobles to work out in. Maybe they're fine, for coaching and things like that, but I just don't love my Nobles. So then I switched back to Reebok, and, they've made some upgrades with their shoe, and I'm very happy with it. Yes, and there is a military discount with that.
Yeah, I was a Reebok guy 3 through 6, and then that's when Charlie talked me into the Nike Metcon free knits,
fly knits, yeah.
And I was cool with that for a little bit, and then I went back to Reebok for the 9.
Yeah.
Which I have like 5 pairs of.
Yeah.
Because I really like that shoe. And that is all I've worn ever since.
Yeah.
Until I got the Rad R1s.
Oh.
The Rad R1 runners, I love working out in. It's the first runner that I feel stable enough to work out in.
Yeah. Well, I never tried those ones.
Well, they're hard to get. I got lucky enough that I was on a show, called out the CEO of Rad that they are never in stock, and he sent me a pair.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the worst shoes, I think the worst model of Reebok was the 10, the X. Those are the ones that we got for Rogue for volunteering, but got canceled.
Yeah.
I think they are the absolute worst pair of shoes. I hated the way they felt. They were so high up on the heel.
They were heavy.
Oh yeah.
Boots.
I felt like clown shoes. Like, I have big feet for my frame actually. And so, but I felt like it looked like I was wearing dumb looking shoes when I wore those, but they've since, like I said, corrected it. And now I'm enjoying them.
I know the Savage S1s are becoming super popular by Born Primitive.
Yeah.
And they're very much the look of the old Nano 2. And people seem to love them, but Kenneth's just going back to the Chuck Taylors.
If it works, dude. Yeah. And here's the other thing. A lot of times, like, I'm sure lots of the other shoe companies do this too, but I know that Reebok usually has like a 40% off, like when they're getting ready to put out a new model. And so, I mean, come on. I mean, that's a really good price to stock up.
Yeah, I think Ken said that he's close to an Innovate store, and they go on sale for like $45. You can't beat the price.
Okay,
We used to have north of us an outlet mall that had a Reebok store,
Mm-hmm.
And on my way to my parents, I had to pass that outlet store. And that you could get nanos for like 20, 30 bucks.
Yeah.
Jay Ross says, anyone use zero drop more minimal shoes?
I don't, but I've seen several athletes definitely have some minimal shoes.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm too old. My feet hurt too bad. And that's what the Rads have been a game changer for me. There's enough cushion in it for like a runner, but yet it's stable enough I can still work out.
Yeah, I mean, I used to think for me that was when I was really running a lot, like I needed that like thicker kind of shoe, but since I'm not running as much anymore, it's fine.
Where the Reebok, and actually I got a new pair of Reebok runners too, but Reebok in the Rad runners, when I'm in an event on that cement all day, like
oh yeah,
totally
yes.
game changing.
Yes, that definitely makes a difference when you're standing on concrete, that's for sure. I'm curious about Adidas.
Me too. That was kind of my next thing, so you hit it before me.
Okay, let's talk about it. Thanks, Kat.
What made it pop into my head is I just watched the Bethany interview with Dave Castro last night. Okay. And we're having her on next Friday. Mm-hmm. But she signed with Adidas. Yeah. And I know that because of her back issues, she's very particular about her shoes. And I don't think she's ever had a deal footwear wise until this. Yeah. So she said they have 5 athletes signed. Sydney Wells, her, and then 3 men, and 2 of them are teen athletes. They're not even like in the main game yet. Yeah. So, and Adidas has been around the game forever.
Well, yeah, but you have to call it Adidas.
Well, you can. I don't have to. But
Adidas.
And what I found interesting in the Castro interview is he was talking that they were in talks with Adidas to have a deal with early on in CrossFit, but at the time, Adidas and Reebok were under the same umbrella. Ah, yeah. And they were trying to make a clear delineation between training and sport. And so Adidas became the sport shoe, Reebok became the training shoe. But now they're not under the same umbrella. Yeah. And so that's why Adidas is coming in pretty hard with the new training shoe.
Similar topics, changing it slightly. I heard that the inventor or the head of Adidas and Puma were brothers, and they got into like a feud and kind of separated and each made their own companies. Somebody told me that.
The only thing I know about Adidas is what I saw in the movie Air.
Well, if you watch the Beckham documentary, they talk a lot about Adidas. That's why.
Okay. Have you seen Air?
No.
Well, it's Nike signing Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how there was a war to get him between Converse, Adidas, and Nike. And Nike wasn't even a player. Nike was just a running shoe back then. And there was just one guy that wanted to go all in on signing him. And he had to convince Phil Knight and the crew to let him. And the movie's about like that story of trying to get there. And then when they signed him, the difference it made in their company.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Jordan himself still makes hundreds of millions of dollars a year on his shoes.
I can't even imagine.
He was the first athlete to get a portion of the shoe sales. And it was almost a deal breaker that made Phil Knight walk away. I'm sure he is so glad that he did not.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's a great movie. It's Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and it's on like Amazon Prime, I think.
Yeah.
So if you have a minute, you would love it. It's just a really good movie.
I'll fit that in after my first nap.
Okay, you do that. I'll fit it in after my 18 meetings this afternoon.
Well, this is napping season for me because of not being in school. But also, I definitely nap on days when I get up at 4 to coach, when in actuality means I really wake up. Today, I woke up at 2:30 and couldn't go back to bed.
Charlie said that's the same deal he made with Clydesdale. Yeah. Charlie made us who we are today.
He did something. He came to the gym today.
He did.
Yep.
Wow. That's good.
He did. Yeah, he worked out too. He probably, listen to this, he probably did more work than I did today.
No way.
Yep. But that's because I'm a little injured.
What'd you do? Is it working on the deck?
Yep. I think it was, I've been working on, lots of deck projects going on. I've replaced all the boards, you know this, but then I painted all the boards, and it was a lot of, I think just a lot of like hinging and I don't know, probably rounding my back some and just odd movements. So I felt kind of tweaky coming in yesterday, and the workout was terrible. And I definitely had to stop mid workout, and I was smart. And it's because I didn't want to keep going. I knew it would be bad. So I came home, I kind of walked with the dog, just did some walking. And then today I went in because I was coaching, and it was 10-1 of power snatch and burpee over bar. And so I did like hang power snatch at 45 pounds and then step back and step over burpee. So I didn't even sweat, which is kind of annoying.
But listen, you're not in games training.
You're right. I'm not. I was just happy to do
life training. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Elise Carr Ridow, hinging plus oldness does not go together well.
Yeah, go back up to, there we go.
And then Mike Halpin does jump in to say the Adidas and Puma were created by the Dassler brothers.
Yeah.
Adolf Dassler, Adidas.
Yeah. Okay. See, I thought that there was something going there.
Yeah, they in the movie Air, they actually, like, part of the trying to convince him not to go with Adolf and the German company.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Charlie did squat yesterday, and he's squatting tomorrow. I saw him squat.
When I was interviewing Brandon Luckett, I didn't know how much to go all in on Charlie doing his EMOM endurance piece, because if Charlie makes it to day 5, like, we're lucky.
Let's find out. Charlie, let us know.
So I didn't know whether to go all in with Brandon and say, hey, we got a guy.
We got a guy, right? I mean,
I know Corey does it like every day, and Brandon actually was talking smack about Corey before we went on the air.
Yeah. Ooh.
Weak legs equal weak minds, some say.
Well, I'm going to use that for the next time I'm coaching, because we'll have like after the workout, we'll have some accessory piece, and it's, like a little body pump or something. And I'll be like, and what happens typically is people will do the workout and then they just peace out. And I was like, none of you should be skipping any leg days. You need to be here. You need to stay. So now I'm going to use the weak minds now.
Basically, Charlie has to get past the free trial.
Charlie loves free stuff.
Well, and we were talking about the Savage Ones. EMOM is giving away a pair of Savage Ones with their current challenge.
If Charlie were to do the challenge, he might get something free.
So I'm going to ask you one more question.
Okay.
About, we talked last week that your son got his L1,
mm-hmm.
and he is coaching at another gym.
Yeah.
Have you attended a class in which he coaches?
No, not yet. No, but he shadowed me coaching, and then he basically has been shadowing me coaching his whole life, right? But him and I co-coached a class, meaning I let him run it while I was there. So I've observed him coaching, but I haven't like been the athlete in his class.
But he's a coach at another gym.
Correct. He
how
did it
long-
at my gym.
How long would you give it for him to feel comfortable before you go to his gym and take his class?
He's good. I could totally do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like Corey would never want me to, like I'd have to give it like 3 months.
Yeah. No, he's totally fine. He coaches me all the time. I mean, all the time, like one-on-one kind of stuff.
Yeah. One-on-one, Corey would let me do that. It's
Yeah.
that she'd be over a class.
Yeah, sure.
And like, it's, yeah.
I mean, he's definitely a natural leader. And, so I think when he knows the stuff, then he's, feels really confident. I think, like a lot of people, hey, if you know what you're talking about, it's easier. Obviously.
So it was not Imam giving away the Sabbath. It's actually Uplift. But Brandon Luckett is doing the program for that workout this month. And Uplift we have been promoting. It's a suicide prevention organization that we promote as much as we can on this channel.
Let's talk about this then. Here's a little challenge that is happening. So our gym does, and I think it's a part of Mayhem programming, but our gym does like a monthly challenge. So it's like whatever is outside of workouts, like it might be like accumulate single leg squats, try to accumulate 1,000 per leg this month or something like that. And I saw Cheryl, your nutrition coach, talking about this on one of her clips the other day. So I'm curious, do you track your steps per day?
I was until my watch stopped doing it correctly.
Oh, okay.
So I don't have the money to get a new watch right this moment.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, on our weekly check-in with her, we have to record our steps for the week.
Okay. Well, so it made me think about it because our monthly challenge is try to get 8,000 to 10,000 steps 5 times a week. And so I was just kind of curious, like what other people, knowing, having desk jobs or things like that. And part of also what Cheryl was talking about, like, how do you get those steps? Really, Charlie, you count each step in a notebook? I don't believe that.
Yeah. Yeah, Kenneth, I didn't realize watches were so expensive. Garmin's are pricey. They are.
Yeah, they are.
And I end up banging them on everything that I walk through, like every door jamb, every frame, every whatever. And mine looks like it's been through a lot.
And I mean, like your phone will track your steps, but that means you have to always, have your phone on you. And that's just a pain.
So much.
The first Garmin I ever had literally looks like a CPU, like on my wrist, like the old first kind of computers. And they didn't even do half of the stuff that Garmin's can do now. But
see, you have this nice dainty little wrist that watches look cool on. I need the whole CPU.
Yeah.
Just to look normal on my wrist.
Right.
That's a big honking.
Yeah.
So I always get the big. I saw it. I was interviewing Travis Mayer at Granite Games, and his watch is massive, and I was like, "That's the one I want because that's going to make my wrist look normal size."
Yeah.
And so there we are.
So what's your typical goal then? Meaning that you have like a sit down job kind of thing.
8 to 10.
8 to 10. Yeah. It's
so what
amazing.
I try to do is like 2 laps around our big block with Walter a day, in addition to like other stuff like getting up and moving.
Yeah,
and it's been really beautiful this week to do that.
It has been amazing this week. But it's interesting because I thought that me being in the classroom and teaching that I would get more steps, but I actually don't. I wish it would count like the number of squats that I do, because I'm literally like in basically a squat position all day talking to kids. But I don't really get that many steps in the classroom as I do actually over the summer, because I'm just being a busybody.
I thought at Syndicate Crown I'd have like a ton, because
Mhm.
normally I do. And it could be my watch still is malfunctioning, but when I'm holding a camera, it doesn't register anything, because I'm
Yeah.
holding the camera like still as I'm moving, and it doesn't shake enough to register. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll even put it on like when I mow the lawn, because I'm curious about like steps for that. I'll put it, it's 2 miles for me. It tracks like 2 miles for me mowing my lawn. But, of course, it's all just lines and of steps. But
Do you ever look at the GPS when you're done to see
yeah.
like the scribble back and forth?
Yes. And it's like, why did you go that way and do that? And I was like, oh, no, I got bored. So I thought I would just cut it in half and then come back.
All right. Well, I wanted to do something fun with you today, and it comes from our buddy WODZombie, which
Okay.
before I pull this up, he has new cards out. There's 5 new cards in the last 2 weeks. And one of the cool aspects of the cards is there's a Jeffrey Adler champion card. It has a gold foil champion at the bottom.
Yeah.
And the picture used was taken by our photographer at the CrossFit Games last year.
That's right.
Rosie View Photography, or Jess. So proud, so cool. Got to talk to WODZombie, got to be part of the negotiations that got that picture on the card, and it was so freaking cool. So, going to support WODZombie a little bit today, and he put out this thing on Instagram of a plane seat. So there are 12 open seats on a plane. Which seat would you pick to sit in? Now you have row 1 with Jason Hopper and Colton Mertens, or 2 with Amy Kringle and Bella Martin, 3 with Brooke Wells and Sarah Sigmundsdottir.
Sarah looks like she will literally fight you with her eyeballs right there.
Yeah. That's the right before the event.
Yeah,
look.
she's going to cut you.
4 is Scott Panchek and Josh Bridges. 5 is Taylor Self and John Young. 6 is Matt Fraser, Tia Toomey. 7 is Dave Castro and Savon. 8 is Greg Glassman and Don Fall. 9 is Danny Spiegel and Andrew Hiller. 10 is Jason Kalipa and Rich Froning. And 11 is just with Danielle Brandon. And 12 is just with Haley Adams.
So my gut says, and then I'll give you a backup if something happens. My gut is I want number 10.
That's what I picked.
I figured. So I'm definitely that would be number 1, because I think that would be the most humbling and genuine, like
the storytelling.
Conversation. Yeah, conversation.
The storytelling of the old OG days of CrossFit would be awesome. And I love both of them.
Yes.
But the bonus is you get to eavesdrop on the row behind you, which is Greg Glassman and Don Fall.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my pick.
Well, I actually think my second pick would be seat number 9 because of entertainment value only.
And that's the Hiller Spiegel row.
Yeah. Just be like, oh, for real? You just said that?
Charlie said he would take 2 on the way to and 11 on the way back on his round trip.
Oh, yeah, he would. 100%.
And we don't even have to ask him why.
No.
I think in his top 5 list, the exemption list that people get, I think Amy Kringle and Danielle Brandon are both on that list.
Yep.
So, and Bella Martin's pretty cool. I like her. She's a neat chick. So that's cool.
Yeah. See, I think Rich and Jason would totally be talkative. I think they would totally have conversations with people. They would love to talk about it, I think.
Every time I've run into either one of them, they have been very, very talkative to me.
Yeah.
Rich and Jason are both like very gregarious,
Totally.
very open to talk.
Yes.
Halpin says 3, and I'm leaning way back. That means he's in the row with Hopper and Colton. But he's sitting in with Brooke and Sarah. See, Mike, that's me in 10. I'm leaning back to hear what Glassman and Fall are talking about as I'm sitting with Rich and Jason.
So do you think Dawn's on the way out?
No.
Okay.
I think he's just he's the face that's taken all the punishment right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the equity firms, they need someone to go do that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to dive into all that business again.
No, you're fine. I just was thinking about it.
Because I've been one of the biggest supporters of Dawnfall.
Yeah.
And this last thing upset me a little more than other things have. So it just, he seemed tone deaf.
Yeah.
And really from what affects me most, and that's media. I think.
Sure,
yeah. So the other thing I want to talk about real quick is I woke up to a really cool note.
Oh yeah.
I woke up to a note from Sean Woodland.
Oh.
He actually saw our show Sunday night. And I said some things about him, and it's going to be a loss not having him at the games this year. And he wrote back that he caught it and thanked me so much and can't wait. He can't wait to thank me in person. And I was very touched by that.
That's very lovely. Really.
And I've told this story a couple times. I knew Sean when he was a sportscaster in Tallahassee, Florida, when I lived there. And I would tune in every night to hear about Florida State baseball and Florida State football.
Yeah.
And it was really wild for me to then later in life see him as the announcer of the CrossFit Games.
Mm-hmm.
But every time I have run into him, he has been kind, and we never talk CrossFit. We always talk hockey or football or other stuff. And he was one of our first ever guests.
He was. I remember that. Like
episode 13 or something like that. And yeah. So really cool. Yeah. I wasn't going to bring this up, but that was really cool too. Hattie Kanyo sent me a thank you for supporting her. And it was a signed jersey from semifinals really and a cool set of bracelets that said Clydesdale capable. And so that was really cool. And I will get a frame for that very soon, and it will go up on the wall, of course.
Are you running out of wall space?
I'm running out behind me.
Yeah.
But I have plenty like in the room.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So there's that, but that was really cool. But I wanted to ask you about Dave Castro's interviews, because at first I thought, man, that's going to be a conflict of interest. And I've really, after hearing 17 of them, have softened my stance.
Okay. Look at that. You see, we've got some capability of growth here.
I think they've been awesome. And if you have not been watching them, they are so, and the more he does, the better he's getting at them.
Yeah.
But when he said 5 to 10 minutes, none of them are 5 minutes. Yeah, they are 10 to 15.
Yeah. You can't have a just getting to know you kind of conversation with somebody that's only 5 minutes, you know?
And I think the ones that he doesn't know the people very well are better than the ones he knows the people.
Yeah. Well, so far he's at 17, and we thought he would make it to
18. I said that I am wrong. He's going to crush that goal.
Well, I love this. We can admit when we're wrong.
He actually said that and I should have known this, he's very goal oriented. And if he sets a goal for himself, he's going to hit it.
That's true.
And he came out and said the only reason he would not hit 80 is if someone refused to come on.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is going to be hard pressed to get some of the people who do not speak English to come on with him.
Sure.
And I don't think it's going to be a refusal. I think it's just going to be a lack of the possibility.
Yeah. And if you have a translator, it's just harder for clips and to make it be that time.
Kat said, I said 25, also wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was way off. But yeah.
But you know, what's interesting is where I'm seeing all the clips.
On his channel?
No. Somebody else's.
Well, those are the clips. Okay.
The clips, not the interviews, the clips.
Well, Hiller's clipping them.
Yeah. To get the content out.
So let me ask you this. Is he trying to show Dave how to make the clips better? Because Dave is putting out clips, but it is not cut. So it's like taking the full side-by-side screen. So if I get rid of the plane here.
Yeah, let's see.
Okay. Just like, so Dave is taking this shot right here and just putting it onto Instagram with black space, top and bottom.
Yeah. Okay.
Hiller's taking the clips, putting them into like one face on the screen at a time, back and forth between the speakers, putting the words below it. And I think it's Hiller almost trying to show him that it can be done better.
It could be. I mean, my instinct was he was also just trying to say, hey, CrossFit, look at how easy you can get these out. Like this content that you should be producing and putting out is how I'm viewing it.
Well, with a little effort, you can make it look a lot better than you are.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because when I do a clip, like I really try to make it just one face on that real screen at a time. You don't have a lot of side-to-side space.
Yeah.
And so when it's put up like Castro's, and it's probably someone at CrossFit doing that, these heads are so small you can barely see the person. Like it just, yeah. And Hiller's look way, way better.
Yes, agreed.
Did you watch Week in Review?
No.
He sorts the questions now by top comment, meaning it had the most likes.
Okay.
Everyone that had Hiller in it, he's just skipped over. He goes, nope, not doing that one. Nope, not doing that one. Which I was glad he did it, because I don't want it just to be every week a back and forth between him and Hiller. That's
sure.
Tune into Week in Review.
I feel like they just need to, you know what I say about conflict, right?
Then increase communication.
Yeah, increase communication. So those two, we need to just get them to talk and get this conflict.
Which is what I said last week. They need to talk. Kat took it to they need to hire him.
Yeah.
And then all that got clipped and put out on Hiller's channel.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think they do need to talk and come to some kind of resolution. But
yeah, I think they should. I think they could both really grow from each other.
Right, because I think a lot of it is just miscommunication. Yeah. We don't have enough time to get into the thing I wanted to say, but because I have one of those 18 meetings starting in a couple minutes.
Okay.
But there was supposed to be a cut schedule released by now. It still is not released. He said it during the Dallin Pepper interview, I think on Friday, that it was going to be within 24 hours. We are now on Tuesday.
Yeah, and then
I hate cuts. I hate them.
I do too.
And but
it does, Corbin. I agree. Sorry.
If you answer the question, you got to show the question or say the question.
Okay, sure.
conflict helps growth too. It does. There was actually a moment I thought that they were in cahoots. And I know cahoots is like a term that gets made fun of in the CrossFit space. I felt like Hiller and Castro were playing up the back and forth to grow both channels. So, Craig, I don't think they're a necessary evil if you have the right 40 athletes at the games. But we have the mistake of not having the right 40 athletes at the games. Therefore, the cuts become necessary, but we're just making one bad decision on top of another bad decision.
So do you think all 40 athletes should be, is what I'm hearing is you think all 40 athletes should be all the way through the games?
So I said this Sunday night. The only reason I think a cut should come into play is if your TV contract makes it so you can only do so many heats, or the timing of it needs to be reduced. But usually that is only on Sunday. So I think if there's cuts, it should be one, and it should be for the last day.
That's what I'm referring to. Yes. Like,
and for a TV necessitated deal. Because if you have the right 40 athletes there, the 40th athlete could impact the final standings.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you look at North America East with a deep field, there were people from the first heat finishing in the top 5 of the last 3 or 4 events.
Okay.
So they were impacting the scores by middling between people. And because of that, that's why like Annika Greer dropped and Erica Polo dropped because of that. So and then Harley Mom says, don't do cuts, just send less to the games. Again, I think it's just another bad decision to cover up a bad decision. Send the right 40 people to the games. The 40 fittest people in the world to the games. Or just do one person for some of the countries that have shown they don't perform at the games.
Gosh, do you remember 2017?
You mean 19 with the 160?
Yes, it was 19. Yes. Yeah. Oh, Dave just dropped a Jeff Adler interview. That should be interesting.
Yeah. I think they're good. They've all been good.
For sure.
I just probably won't be able to get to it until 6 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
They can no longer blame the other divisions in a busy week for the volunteers and staff, especially next year when they split off teams and do cuts again. So, Halpin, do you know something we don't know about splitting off teams, or are you just guessing? Anyway, the only thing I got, one nugget I got out of one of the interviews is Dave is solely doing the games programming. Boz is doing the teams programming. Now they do talk about certain things, but each one of them kind of had their role this year. Boz did team, Dave did individual. So now we know it's going to lean more towards a Dave Castro programmed event. At the games this year. And he's asking every single person about cycling, which I don't know if that's just a ruse or what. But
interesting.
With that, I have a meeting in 6 minutes.
Yep, you better get to it.
So we're going to take off, but is the deck done?
The deck painting is done. I need to do the trim.
Will that be done by next show?
Yeah, maybe.
Dave said it in his interview with Saxon that he's been looking to split off teams for a while. I am betting it happens. Then individuals could also do teams on a separate schedule. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, that was an interesting Q&A. Saxon really went at him with a lot of questions.
Yeah, I do have to trim, but Corey, here's something real quick. So I have some bushes. I think I've told you guys some bushes that kind of outline the deck, and I've been getting a lot of advice that if I trim those bushes, that it will make the deck look even bigger. So I think we talked about that before. So I'm definitely going to go for that aspect.
Nice.
So we have some good aesthetics there, and I'll send you some more deck pics. Okay.
Yeah, and make sure you put some Hak Tui into that whole process.
Yeah. Yep. For sure will.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right. Have a good meeting.
We will see everybody next time on Clydesdale Media Roundtable. Bye, guys.